Here at home this morning, there is some news that millions of bank customers are not going to like very much. No. Bank of America has announced plans to charge customers $5 a month just to use their debit card starting next year. And other major banks are expected to add similar fees.
Yes, I think we can all see that coming, right? BofA's announcement comes as a new rule takes effect tomorrow for banks, which puts a cap on the fee they can charge retailers every time a customer uses a debit card. Here to break this down for us and take a look at your financial future in many ways, Wall Street Journal markets columnist Kelly Evans. Kelly, good to have you with us this morning. In some ways, people are outraged, but it's probably not shocking, and this is clearly going to be the beginning for probably every bank, right?
Sure. In a sense, this is the most transparent way that banks could charge customers for these accounts, because what we've really seen in the past couple of years is them using overdraft fee revenue and that kind of thing in order to make up their fee income, which has over time become a bigger and bigger share for banks of their earnings, because we have a weak economy, we have very low interest rates. So for the traditional bread and butter of the banking business, which is lending, it's just been hard to make as much money as you once did. That's especially true these days when there's very little demand for loans. So banks are under a lot of pressure. And then on top of that, as you mentioned, there's this regulation going into effect this weekend that will basically take the debit fee charges that they typically get from retailers from, say, something on average of about 44 cents to basically cutting that in half. So that's not helping. And as a result, they're saying, look, this is how we're going to lose a significant amount of revenue. So we're going to charge you $5 a month for that account.
Yeah, which is the concept of actually charging for a service is not that outrageous, but this is a flat fee. This is not a customer being charged per charge.
Correct. This is a fee that will be used if you use your debit card. Now, not if you take money out of an ATM. So, you know, we could all, I guess, go take out a bunch of cash and use it that way, but it almost feels like a back to the future moment.
Right. And this is if you use your debit card as a credit card as well.
No,
you're going to be, all you have to do is swipe it once during the month to make a purchase, and you're going to get that fee.
Exactly. Now, Bank of America, the biggest bank in the U.S., this Durbin Amendment to the Dodd-Frank legislation, which is what changed the debit card fee infrastructure, this applies to big banks. So what's interesting is if you see, because you've already seen a lot of customers saying, this is crazy, forget it, I'm done with Bank of America. Other banks, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, some of the other big banks are already testing fees, something like $3 a month in certain markets. So, and as we know, other fees, ATM fees and overdraft fees actually themselves have still been going up because banks need this revenue. What will be interesting is if this starts to drive people away from the convenience of having a big national bank where you can use a bunch of branches to their local credit union, to their regional bank that may not have these fees.
Let's ask about that, because people might look into that, going to the much smaller banks. Should people feel comfortable with that?
You know, it's hard to say, but if what they're looking for, because remember, who this most affects are people with lower checking accounts. Because if you're a profitable customer for a bank, if you have a lot of money in your account, if you use a lot of their services, maybe their mortgages, this probably won't apply to you. This really applies to those people who have lower balances. And so for them, if they know that either this $5 fee is going to be a hit or that overdraft fees are going to be a hit, then yeah, it makes sense to look around.
But real quickly, and Jeff brought up a great point. I mean, charging for a service as outrageous as it may seem, because we're so used to getting everything for free, not completely unheard of. So are fees like this essentially, because they need to cover costs, could they trickle down to your local bank, to your credit union, where you're going right now to try to find a safe haven where they're not charging you?
Well, certainly once the big guy does it, it's that much easier for everyone else to do it. So if banks will probably try to hold out and really get those customers while the big guys do it, but they may only be able to hold out for so long.
Kelly Evans, thank you very much.
Okay. You're just
the messenger, just the messenger. Fun fees.
And a good messenger at that. Thanks for being here.